Well, summer is coming. I know I just said there's a bit of rain and thunderstorms, but, summer is coming. There's something in the air. Maybe it's time to get a new house. Now, I've had a few friends that have had trouble selling their properties in the last 6 months or so. They've had to take them back off the market. But in the last month, probably because interest rates have gone down, one friend finally sold hers and another has an offer sitting on hers at the moment. So while house sales seem to be edging upwards, are we looking maybe at a market boom? The man in the know with the ear to the ground and the eye to the horizon is property commentator Ashley Church, and he joins me now. Ashley, hello.
Hello, I'm disappointed to hear about this weather around the country because it's a stunning, warm 24-degree day here in Hawke's Bay, so it's obviously not happening everywhere.
Hawke's Bay is a place to be, babe. I'm from Hastings, remember, so I know how good it is.
I do remember that, Leah.
All right, let's
property boom. So I guess the implied question is, has it started or is it going to start? And the answer is yes, there is going to be another boom. The only question is around the timing, whether it's going to, it's definitely related, as you and I have talked ad nauseum before, to the cost of money. So as the cost of money comes down, the cost of houses goes up. It's just a question of how quickly that relationship changes. So if there's changes in interest rates, there are changes in interest rates, if they continue over the next few months as we all expect them to, you would expect to see that having a knock-on effect on the property market. So the answer is yes, it's just a question of when.
Now, there was a survey reported from CoreLogic that said smaller mum and dad investors were buying houses rather than large investors. Why would you think that would be?
I have no idea. That's a very interesting observation. It might just be a statistical quirk. In fact, it actually surprises me a little bit because I would have thought, if you'd asked me that question, if you'd asked me to guess who would be first off the ranks, I would have guessed that it would be institutional investors first. So that surprises me a little bit. And it surprises me particularly because mum and dad investors have been particularly hard hit over the last 2 or 3 years with high interest rates.
Yes.
But I'm pleased to see it's happening. So, it's a sign, obviously, of confidence in the market that they're prepared to do that.
I saw this story and I found it quite intriguing, Ashley, that there are apparently courses that cost quite a bit of money that promise to show you a secret strategy, if you will, that the banks don't want you to know, how to pay off your mortgage faster. Do you know about these?
I do, and it's not a secret. So what they're doing, and I think there's a number of them. This isn't new, Leah. These have been around for years. Is what they do is and when I say years, at least 20, so possibly even longer. So what they're doing is they're teaching people how to use revolving credit facilities as a way of paying off their mortgage more quickly. And so I guess the implied question that is, are they legitimate? Are they a good idea? Yeah. And there's kind of a yes and a no in there. In fact, there's a yes and then a qualified yes. They're not a scam. So what they're actually promoting is a real thing. If you're careful with your finances and you save in a particular way, then the claims that they make around paying off your mortgage faster are absolutely legitimate, and people will pay their mortgages off faster, sometimes quite significantly faster. The problem is that they work in cycles of sort of 10 or 15 years, and most people don't have the discipline to continue to save carefully for that period of time.
Sure.
Having said all of that, because the question then would be, well, if you can do this yourself, why would you go one of these courses? The answer to that is that most of us don't actually know how to do it. And if we were to just simply go and get a revolving credit facility ourselves, the vast majority of us would just have the temptation to go and buy a new car and a holiday and would blow it all, and then would just be in more debt. Whereas these things actually teach you how to do it.
Yeah. Are you fond of that kind of idea, the revolving credit?
Yeah, I've actually never done it. I'm very familiar with how it works, but familiar enough to be able to say that, hey, it is legitimate. I've never done it myself, but for people who are on either who want to turbocharge the repayment of their mortgage and have got the discipline to do so, or on limited incomes and want to pay their mortgage off a bit more quickly, it's actually a legitimate approach.
Cool. Okay, the debate is growing about whether a jumbo cut to the official cash rate is looming next month. Some are suggesting a 75 basis point cut. What?
I saw that. Look, it's possible. So the things in favour of it, we've just had a 0.5, and before that we had a previous cut prior to that as well. So we're seeing rates starting to come down quite quickly.
Yes.
In favour of it is the fact that the economy is in pretty dire shape, and the Reserve Bank recognises that it, and in fact the Reserve Bank's actually created this situation, so it's a problem of their making, have recognised how bad things have got inflation back under that 1 to 3% range, and are now wanting to get us back to some sort of business as usual. So that's the argument in favour of it, that the quicker they do it, the quicker we get back to some degree of normality.
Right.
What resonates against it is Adrian Orr, I assume, won't be wanting to start to trigger inflation again. He won't be wanting inflation to start ticking up above that 3%. And the risk would be, if you bring it down too fast, then you run the risk that inflation takes off. And we have only got to go back to 2021 to see what happened last time they brought down the cost of money too quickly. Inflation went crazy and we got into the position we're in now. So if I was making a guess on it, I would be more likely to say it's more likely to be 0.5 than 0.75.
Yeah. I just wanted to bring this up because we have a mutual friend. Thank you for giving me his name. And we were looking at restructuring our mortgage. And while we were away, I was so worried because we got back and we only had 10 days before it was to come off. And everyone's gone up. It's been we'd been bumped up once, and this was looking at another bump up. And great advice from your mortgage guy, and he pointed out to us, and I just want this for other listeners if you haven't done it already. He said the actual bank you're with is offering you something that's not advertised, which he pointed out, which I just was completely unaware of. So the lesson I took from that was, instead of threatening to leave your bank, maybe have a convo with your bank and see what they can do. Would that be? That's kind of right, isn't it?
Well, yes, it would, in fact. So you're talking about refixing. So you might be on a 6 or 12 month rate.
Yeah.
So I can't speak for all banks, but I know that the bank that I'm with, and I won't mention them, but the bank that I'm with, when I go to refix, it's a completely automated process online, and it gives me an alternative rate. So it shows me the carded rate, the rate that the public see, and then it shows me the rate that's available to me. And there's sometimes sort of 0.5% difference between the two of them.
Absolutely.
And that's absolutely right.